Almost the weekend. It's Thursday, Friday Eve again. Good afternoon. Good evening. How's everybody feeling? Just want to, before I start off, just wanted to give a shout out to my man Ray and my little nephew Ray for getting his driver's permit. Keep driving on, man. And when you do get that Bentley or Rolls Royce or something like that, don't remember to come pick up your boy. All right. P. Diddy, the judge in P. Diddy's case, because I don't want to mistalk or say anyone's name wrong. So the judge's name was Arun Subramanian. Arun Subramanian. So that's Arun Subramanian. He was appointed back in 2023 and confirmed. He was sent to for appointment to Joe Biden for nomination through Senator Chuck Schumer from New York. And he was actually appointed or confirmed to be a judge in the New York Southern District back in 2023, March. So he's been a judge for less than 2 years. A little over 2 years at this point. So, we don't want to sit and question his credential and anything like that because, hey, he's a judge. He's done what he was supposed to do. Time-wise, you may say, well, why should a judge that's still so relatively new get maybe the case of the century? But hey, I don't know how it works. Maybe it was his time up. Maybe that's the way they do stuff. Who knows? From what everybody's accounts are and from what I've heard over the time of the trial, he's been extremely fair as far as when it comes down to how things have gone, objecting and sustaining when it comes to both the prosecution and defense. Although technically he's supposed to stay impartial, realistically, he still works for the government. Couple of things. First, yesterday, of course, we talked about, and just the world talked about how Diddy beat three of the major charges that were on him. I've seen a lot of stuff, and we'll talk about that at a later time. Just about it's almost unreal, the slanted media coverage of people, particularly from a woman's side of things. And like I said, we'll talk about that at a later time because, it's a lot of a slippery slope when it comes down to talking about people who are considered victims. And, to many people who say, well, were they victims or were they just people trying to get a money grab that were in a situation where they were dealing with a very rich and powerful man? As to be honest with you, a lot of times women would love to be in those situations with a rich and powerful man. Maybe not the other things that come with it, but I think most people understand at this day and time, especially when you look at entertainment, it's a total different world than just quote unquote, I guess, traditional rich guy. Okay, so there's a lot of extra rock and roll-esque kind of things going on. But that's not what we want to talk about. Yesterday, from court accounts, they said that after the verdict was read, and the judge said to Puffy, "Hey, listen, would you like to go back to, the whole MDC, the holding facility?" And Puffy was like, no. And it was kind of like a banter, laughter back and forth, and even with some other people in the chamber, in the court. So that would give the expectation that this judge has said, enough already. We've seen enough. He has been, the larger charges have been dropped. So let's let him go home. Now, just like with anybody else, people have their own interpretation of how they view Diddy and all of this other kind of stuff. But for me, just like I try to say with anything else, any other time, I'm more of a person who wants to focus on what's fair, what's quote unquote, even by the law, right or wrong. the government did win, but they lost, right? But they did win because they still were able to secure a conviction, still keeping their conviction rate at 95, 96 plus percent conviction. The issue I have with this is that once he chose to say, hey, Mr. Combs, you want to go home, then the prosecution lawyer, Comey, she steps up. Oh, no, we don't think that he should go home. And of course, the defense stepped up and said, why? We could secure, this, that, he's not a flight risk. He's already been renting out his plane. He doesn't have he was made to surrender his passport. He even came here to New York under the pretenses, knowing that he would be booked, as far as because he knew that the case was coming down the pike, but that those were part of the protocols, and he would be released, whether it was on some type of supervision or house monitor or whatever. He can't even fly out of the country. But still, the judge says, hey, look, all right, bang, by 1 o'clock, because I think the verdict was over by about 10 o'clock. Hey, look, by 1 o'clock, you have your side, defense, what you want to say. Prosecution, you have your side of what you want to say. Put it on the table, and, I'll come up with a conclusion. So before the end of business yesterday, I think around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock Eastern time here, I'm starting to see stuff trickle in, and I see it, and it says that although he put up $1 million bail package, he was willing to stay at whatever home or, whatever, just to be out. It was denied again. And so I said to myself, what in the world is the reason for them to deny it? Is he being denied because I don't know. I'm sitting there like, I don't know. What is the reason? This man has been held in jail for about a 9 to 10 month period. Okay. They're talking about sentencing won't be until October 3rd, but then the judge says, well, if you want to try to expedite it, you can expedite it. Like, come on, like to us regular people out here, like what in the world is going on? You say to him, oh yeah, Mr. Combs, I know you would love to go home, such and such, such, such. You don't want to spend another night there in MDC, do you? No. But then when you get the opportunity to allow him to go home, what makes you say pause for cause, or cause for pause? So then it comes out, he says, well, because by your own and your lawyer's admission that, you did point out that you did have a violent past, you did have a violent issue or violent issues towards women. That's where, for me, the crap starts. And this is the kind of stuff that, not even from an opinion standpoint, factually should be pointed out. Okay, they entered the thing about, or the video with him and Cassie and everything. We all seen it before he went to jail. Everybody knows it's horrific and everything. Still, it was under the auspices of a relationship, their relationship. He was not on trial for domestic violence. He was not on trial for being a bad guy. He was on trial because they thought he had some kind of freak prostitution, sexual ring or whatever going on, which is the furthest from the truth. So when you hear people talk about, he's a monster, he's a such and such. Well, what are you? It's funny. Everybody has an opinion, which is good because I got my opinion. But everybody or certain groups of people still have this other disdain for other people. And it's clear to see. We're going to do a series coming up soon, and it's going to be called It's Always Black and White. Because it is. You have a lot of people who continue to put an extra heavy burden on certain groups of people, specifically black men. Whether you like the decision or not, the justice system once again has spoken. You don't have to like it. I don't have to like it, but you should respect it. And a part of that respect, judge, that's been a judge for 2+ years now, is to say, hey, listen, that other stuff that they brought up has nothing to do with what is going on now. And on top of the fact, by guidelines, typically because he's a first offender, shout out to Ray for pointing that out, because he is a first offender, the guidelines start at 21 months. So for any of us that are having problems counting, less than 2 years. He's already served 10 months. This is a guy that's not like a regular street guy, because he wouldn't have got out anyway because he wouldn't have had the money. But, this isn't just your typical everyday guy. I'm sure he's not going to go, hey, yo, I'm looking for Cassie and Jane Doe. Matter of fact, somebody find me Young Miami too. Yo, we going to squad up and go get them bros. No, that's not what's going to happen. And you guys know it's not what's going to happen. So why would you not release him on bail? And you know why you don't release him on bail? Because there's a couple of things that play to me. First, the government is probably saying, hey, listen, man, that's not what we're going to do, such and such and such and such. And two, for me, and I'll just say it because I am a black guy and I have experienced it, not on that level, but just different levels. That's why it's hard to tell black people to try to differentiate between bias and unbiases against black people, or based because you are black. Because this makes no sense. The guy was found not guilty of the most heinous charges. Prostitution, like once again, for a person on the federal level that's stated out by them that I've researched, 21 months is the minimum. 51 months typically is the maximum for first-time offenders. Yes, by the letter of the law, it can go to 10 years, but typically, and it could go 10 years, both charges. So that's why if you're a person that supported Diddy, or even family-wise, yes, you got a lot of pundits and lawyers saying that, oh yeah, well, he shouldn't do any more than 3 years or anything. But guess what? I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe this guy has a hard-on for him, or because, like I said, and that's why I wanted to point out that research to you, that he's only been a judge for 2 years. And maybe this is his first high-profile case, and although he couldn't get him for life in jail, in prison, he could still possibly stick him with a 10 consecutive year sentence, which would be 20 years. Regardless as to if anybody thinks that Trump is going to pardon him or not. Because there was no reason at this point to not release him based off of some violence that you saw in a video, or you said that his lawyer admitted that had nothing to do with this case, just because people like to clump stuff together. That's why I'll keep going back to the OJ case, because OJ got off the hook the first time. When they got a chance to get OJ again in the system, when he was in Nevada or whatever, and he had a gun or whatever altercation he got in for trying to get back his own memorabilia, what happened was, what did they do? They stuck it to him. 9 years, I believe it was. So what stops this judge who's trying to get his weight up? What stops him from saying, hey, we can put this guy away for 20 years? Although he's a first-time offender. And what I mean by that has been actually convicted of something, of a felony. Forget if he's been arrested or any other kind of stuff before. And that's all a lot of times that people just want. It's just a fair shake. Doesn't matter whether you're Diddy, whether you're Biddy, Mitty, Greggy, whoever it is. People just want a fair shake. And yeah, he is rich. And yeah, most of us will never ever meet him. But so what? Because when it comes down to it, as you live life and you want to live a good life, you want to hope that you live as close to a fair life as possible. All of us, a lot of us have to deal with certain things in this country. I'm going to tell you something. And I was talking to friends about this before. I feel bad because you know why? Because all the money that we all spend in this country, okay? Why is there nobody on any kind of dollar bill or anything that looks like me? That looks like a lot of you. You ever think about that before? You have spent money your entire life. You have lived in this country your entire life. A lot of your ancestors have lived in this country for hundreds of years. And you still get no respect. You still don't have anybody, not a penny. Now, I don't want to hear that Abraham Lincoln is part black. He don't look black to me. And I know this isn't just solely about black and white, but it's about a culmination of tiredness. Where, yes, a person can be a bad person, but does that mean that you have the right to, and what I mean by bad person is that they may do some things to themselves or their girlfriends or whatever that they don't want, or that you may not do. But a lot of times when we talk about victims, since we want to talk about victims, the real victims, a lot of times they are her. There's a lot of guys, a lot of men. That's why I hate when people run with this narrative that are on Megan's list or just different lists, or for being a pedophile or doing molestation or doing other things like that. Plenty of guys. But it's funny how, once again, when it rises to the level of celebrity and it's a bunch of bread involved, now everybody is Me Too. Well, we got a new one. Him too. Him too. Because now it's starting to seem like anybody with some money, any man with some money needs to be protected himself. I mean, come on, we all know that, there's a balancing act. And we do want to protect our women. I got 2 daughters. Of course we want to protect our women. But the thing is that we still have to find a balance of being fair. And we're going to see. Do you think this judge is going to be fair? Do you think that it's fair for them to make him wait? Let's see. Today is July 3rd, August 3rd, September 3rd, October 3rd. Do you think that it's fair to make him wait another 90 days forget that it's Diddy, just anybody? Do you think that it's fair to make somebody wait another 3 months, 90 days for something that they may be able to get out on probation and time served? Doesn't sound right to me. Does it sound right to you? But anyway, that's just my passionate take on it. Because, see, sometimes we need to know the people behind the people. So when you get a chance, you do like I did, Google the judge, find out some of his information, see how long he's been a judge, just different things like that. And let's see if he's going to be shady, or is he going to be fair, or is he going to tell Diddy, take that, take that, take that. Hey, you know how we do. Live life. Don't let life live you.